Welcome back, guys, to MLG Prizefights presented by BIC Flex4 Razors. I'm JP, that's Wolf. We're going straight into game 2 here. Let's just forget about game 1, guys, as I'm sure Rhett already has. We're headed to Metropolis here for this ZVP. As we jump into it, we're going to see Rhett spawning at the 12 o'clock position as the red Zerg. Over at the 9 is going to be Short Stuff, aka Alicia, as the blue Protoss.
Yep, we are at close positions by air, which will mean that Alicia has a few special things he can do if he wants to. For example, this Warp Prism Sentry Drop with Blink Stalker, just a Sentry Drop in general is like really popular right now, like insanely so.
We did some coverage of MC against DRG on this map, and that was exactly what he did. It was so well executed. I would love to see if Alicia can do something as clean as MC's build with that was. So it's such an annoying play too, you know, Wolf. If it ever happens to you in the ladder, you're screaming at your monitor. You're like, why did Blizzard have force fields in this game? It's so annoying to lose that way.
Yeah, a lot of people are really complaining about this. I heard that a lot of people are discussing on the forums, for example, and I think that it's such a technical all-in that if you can, I mean, it's not necessarily an all-in, depends on how you do it, but if you defend it, the Protoss definitely gets really far behind, and all you have to do is spot it and be ready. And if you're not ready, yeah, you're probably going to lose. I think it's not overpowered, but yeah, it's absolutely frustrating.
Yeah, it is quite crazy. And if you want to see, like I said, a perfectly well executed version of it, go watch MC versus DRG on Metropolis. Not sure which game it was, but it was from the first Spring Arena. You can find those VODs at MLG.
If I'm not mistaken, he in that game, he just, as soon as the force field gets dropped, Stoner good GG's. Like,
no. The second the force field is dropped, DRG's like, well, screw that game. I'm just going to go beat EMC somewhere else because that is hopeless. And once again, we see Rhett dropping that second hatchery, or I guess first hatchery, over at the third base. Pylon block here. Rhett's going to just pull that drone back and use the Lings coming out, or should. He doesn't actually have any Lings in productions, though. Huh.
Yeah, his Overlord just popped, and there they go. But, you know, this is Rhett's style. He will always make his hatch at the third base, even if it is a map like this one where the third base is kind of exposed and far away. He will just always have that third hatchery. In fact, I can't ever think of a time where I saw Rhett not make a third hatchery in this matchup.
I have never seen him roachling all in, now that I think about it. I've never seen him
I've not once. I can't even think of a single time. It's just not his style. Makes him a little bit predictable, but even so, he's just so hard to beat.
Yeah. Well, it makes him predictable, but when you could predict that Rhett's going like this, you're like, oh, God, I gotta play against Rhett doing this style. This is so annoying. He's so good at knowing just when to stop droning and create units that he can basically stop most attacks, unless a pylon goes down like we saw in last game.
Yeah, Alicia was just too on top in the last game. I think he definitely could have held that, but Alicia just crushed him. And we may see Alicia go for something similar. I really think that it's very possible that Alicia goes for that sentry drop on this map. In these positions, it's so tempting for any Protoss because, you know, we don't really have maps like this anymore where you have quote-unquote close air positions to do something like this on.
Yeah. And, man, still haven't gotten used to how fast these freaking overlords are. You scouted everything in Alicia's base, and there's nothing that Alicia could do because his Cybernetics core wasn't even finished at that point. It makes the style that Rhett uses so much stronger when he can actively scout like he is.
Yeah, you're so right. He's already got his second overlord in position at the third as well, so he's going to be able to sneak in and take care of that additional scouting very soon. Yeah, I'm not quite used to the overlords either. You know, every time I look at them, when they come in, I'm like, damn, that is so fast.
But, there comes that initial zealot once again. Let's see if he decides to push across the map or just try to take this tower. There are 4 Lings out, so Alicia is going to have to control properly. But both players controlling rather well. No HP really taken from that Zealot. The shields should start recharging here, and with that, Red's going to have to fall back. Meanwhile, in Alicia's base, he's added on 3 more gates. Still no robotics facility, though. the moment.
Yeah, he may actually just stick with 3 additional gates this time instead of getting crazy and making 7 like we saw last game, and use those resources for a really fast Zealot warp-in. He does have that probe moving over to the 3rd base location of Rhett, and since Rhett has not been able to destroy those rocks, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to hold this 4 Zealot pressure. Ooh, Twilight Council going down as well, so he's probably going to follow this up with Blink after he warps in the initial units.
And the Zealot here in the middle is going to fall, but dealing a lot of damage to his links, but not killing any. So the Stalker now will have some trouble. Warp Gate is finished, but the other 3 are not finished in the main base, so he's only going to be allowed 1 Zealot warp-in at the moment. +1 not done as well, but he does control correctly and forces those links back.
Yeah, this is still going to be tough to hold because now the Zealots are warping in, and he gets an additional Stalker here as well. This is going to be tough. If he micros his Zealots and his Stalker correctly, well, he does lose his Stalker, not microing it. Zergling speed is far from being done. I almost feel like Alicia should just pull back here and wait for another round of warp-ins because that is so many Zealots. Okay, so he does have that pylon over here on the side that he can use to warp in, but some of his Zealots are getting caught off guard on the side, and Red, I think, will hold this.
Yeah, Red's easily going to be able to hold this. We got so many roaches popping here at the 3rd base, not even counting the natural in the main. Great pylon placement, though, from Alicia. Even in the last game, every pylon and every warp-in that I saw was in the best possible position for him. And it's almost like he's practicing these maps and just looking around saying, well, I could put a pylon there. Let's test that in this next game, see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, then he obviously doesn't use it. But if it does, which I think is what we just saw with that pylon behind the destructible debris, he puts it there, and it really can do great things for him.
Yeah, that pylon placement was quite nice. I think Brett was just too prepared this time, and he had the roaches out in time, and also Alicia's warp-ins were a little bit stifled. Rhett, meanwhile, now is adding additional spores just to be safe, as well as getting that layer up ASAPs, making it as natural a choice I really like. You don't see that all too often, but when you do see it, it's smart. With this roach pressure coming out, Rhett is going to deny a potential 30s, even forcing an additional photon cannon right now. Blink is almost done, though, and when that is done, it's going to be pretty hard for Rhett to continue this attack. In fact, he's already thinking about going home.
Yeah, and that's the smart play. I mean, when you see a well-fortified toss like that, you can try to break it, but in a map like Metropolis, it's going to take so long to get your units across the field that it's better just to fall back, maybe take a 4th, maybe get more drones out and use the larva for that, rather than for a big attack.
Yeah. Brett, at this point, is actually making a bunch of roaches, building that roach count as he gets a 4th hatchery up. Robo going down for Alicia as he adds his extra gates. And we see the very normal burrow, roach speed, and +1 coming out for Rhett. This is your textbook Zerg versus Protoss research to get. And the question is, how much will Rhett commit to this attack that he could potentially do? Will he actually try to attack the 3rd base of Alicia, or will he get back, get that 4th base up, get hive tech like we talked about earlier? That's going to be the big question, because now the ball is kind of in Alicia's court, in the sense that he can try to do another big 2-base attack, or he can try to take a 3rd, but either way, I think Rhett's going to be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's already at 160 of 182. 8 more roaches on the way. We'll most likely see him push out here once all these upgrade finishes with roach speed and +1, as well as burrow. He does not have burrow move it, though. He actually has it queued up if you go click on the roach warren. So that's going to be what Rhett is going to be doing in this match. And wow, Alicia actually has a ton of units off of 2 base here. He is not looking to expand anytime soon, as he's going to be going across the map with these Blink Stalkers. Yeah,
this is going to be his last attempt here. He has to basically win the game with this, with no 3rd base in sight. He is going to go, he's going to hit +1/1 upgrade timing against Rhett, who only has +1, but he has so many roaches, and he's not going to wait. He's actually just going to go ahead and engage this. The blink is done. He's not using it right away. He's losing a lot of stalkers.
And
I think Brett's just going to destroy this, in fact.
Yeah, the force field's good. The blinks were good. But without any immortals, and you have this many roaches up against, it's really hard to defend against this. Sure, he might take out this first wave, but look at the production tab, guys. There are a bunch more roaches on the way. And he's only at 0 or 1-2 as that upgrade just now kicks in after that big fight.
Yeah, he's trying to do what he can. Blink Stalker control is actually amazing, but it's just not going to be enough with this many roaches. And now he's actually being flanked, so the Stalkers have nowhere to blink. He's going to have to blink over these roaches, which will allow him to do some extra damage. Stalker's on full retreat right now, and Rhett almost tripling the supply at 156 to 69 right now. And these roaches will have to fall back away from that high ground, but basically he can burrow, recover his hit points, send an Overseer across, and continue the attack. Alicia is not going to be able to hold on much longer, I don't feel. There's no answer for this. He can try to get Immortals out, he can try to Chrono them, but it's not going to be enough. He doesn't have the minerals, he doesn't have the income, the economy to continue to do that.
Yeah. Look at the minimap. So many roaches streaming across here. He's going to poke out of his base, see the army of red, and not be too happy with that. Good blinks, though. And that may delay Rhett from attacking for just a little while longer. +2, pretty close to being finished here for Rhett, as he's going to be pushing up against these Stalkers, trying to earn some kills, and might do some here at the choke. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of damage dealt here.
Yep, he's just continuing to attack into Alicia. He's got a second wave of roaches he's not even using just yet. And what can Alicia really do against this many roaches? He's now trying to move out, but he blinks in, and this is exactly what Rhett wants. He's actually just going to engage him straight up now. His roaches have +2. They are tearing through these Stalkers, and that is going to be the way Alicia crumbles in this second game. I think Rhett is going to tie it up.
Yeah, 150 to 79 supply here. Another big warp in for Alicia, but I think it's going to be too little, too late. Good game. Rhett ties this best of 5 up now. 1 apiece for these two players. And I felt like that game, it wasn't really anything incredible from Rhett. It was just Rhett. That was Rhett right there in that game. The first game, I felt like he slipped a little bit with those pylons going down. Second game, he was able to do what Rhett always wants to do, and that's macro up, get a big roach count, roach force, I should say, and go for an attack.
Yeah, Rhett knows he's the big droner guy. He's a big guy who likes to go for fourth bases. But on this map, he was like, I've got an advantage here. I'm just going to attack you. If it seems like it's going well, I'm just going to continue to attack you until you die, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, 1 apiece now, and we head into our next map, which will be Entombed Valley. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to see who's going to take the lead in this best of 5 for $500 right after this break.